So, I've been getting a lot of pain in my head and my face past few days. I can do this, and now my hand hurts a lot. I remove it, and it feels like someone's drilling a hole into my head right here. And I can hear people talking about it. So, Dad, once again, this is not schizophrenia. I do not have voices that are coordinated with the pain on my body. Especially when they tell me about the pain in advance. Like, we're going to give you hemorrhoids. We're going to swell your knee up. Which I did 2 or 3 videos of. I sent you a video showing, hey, my knee's being attacked and it's starting to swell. And I can feel it with my hand hovering over it. And I told you that beforehand, probably like an hour before making that video, 30 minutes, that they actually said, we're going to swell your knee up like the blisters that we did the previous week, which I showed you pictures of. I then did another video later that night or the next day showing how swollen my knee had gotten and that I could barely walk on it. To this day, I cannot get down on the floor and put weight on it. You know, I can't even get on both knees. Like, I can get in the bed, I can put my knee in the bed, but I can't put my knee in the floor, even if I have the other leg kneeled down too. It hurts. The swelling has mostly gone down, but that was like 2 months ago. That's fucking ridiculous. It's also ridiculous that I can do this. Now my hand hurts. My brain is not imagining a beam with coordinated people's talking to me. And again, within a month of hearing these voices, they said, hey, the guy in 301 has your stolen phone and hacked your Google account. I have already sent you screenshots of that, Dad, showing that my phone was in his room or right outside it, and that his email address, and the reason why I know it's his is because I plugged it into search engine and I found 2 Facebook profiles and a Google Plus profile with his pictures in it. I could not have even guessed that. I could not have even suspected that, even in a paranoid delusional state, because he is not the person that stole my phone. I left it in a guy's van and he took him 4 days to return to me a phone that wasn't my phone. And when I got my replacement phone, I did a find your phone tool, find your device tool, and saw that my phone was in that guy's room. You keep ignoring that. That was 3 years ago. You keep ignoring that, and you have caused me an additional 2.5 years of suffering, Dad. I blame you for that. I blame them primarily, but I blame you as well, because you could have stopped this by hiring a private investigator. And again, all I'm asking for is an independent third party, preferably a team, but at least starting with one person, to investigate the huge red flags that I pointed out to you. I have witnesses that have felt this. And just because I did a flawed, quick test with Tim one time does not rule out the witnesses who did feel these shocks and felt them on me and felt them on other people and the other people that were feeling them as well. Once again, it feels like someone's drilling a hole into my head right here. I do not have a normal headache. Now it's gone. Now it's back. Now it's gone. And my hand feels it. And they're talking right now. And I'm telling you, voice to skull technology can manipulate at a subliminal level your thoughts. Maybe they're on you. I guarantee you, the day after Thanksgiving of 2016, almost 3 years ago, you did not mention the Hampton Inn story after when you visited me and Chris, when I just came back from Chris's house and I was literally half a block away looking at the Hampton Inn sign. That is not a mere coincidence. And again, a month after hearing these voices, after not being in denial and thinking, maybe I'm schizophrenic, which, by the way, does not hardly ever happen at age 42 without a history of mental illness. If you don't have a history of mental illness, aside from mood disorders and a trauma-related thing, you typically, in most circumstances, do not get a mental illness at age 42. And again, these voices told me information, and it wasn't a one-time fluke. It wasn't some one-time, and it doesn't even matter if it was a one-time fluke. They've done this thousands of times since then, hundreds at least, but I guarantee you it's over 1,000, where they read license plates off before the license plate's in my field of view. I do not have the power of premonition. I do not have the power of sight beyond sight. I am not literally losing my balance. I'm literally getting pushed sometimes where I'm walking like this, and then I get pushed this way, or I get pushed this way, like someone lightly shoving you, or it makes it harder to walk. It feels like you're walking against a flat escalator, like at the airports, the moving walkways, or they can be pushed with you, and it feels like you're on one of those things. This can be achieved with direct energy weapons. The other technology, voice to skull, is commonly coupled with gangstalking. And with drones that can track people and vehicles, it's no more difficult to attack somebody with one or to film someone with one, because even low-priced, cheap drones have the ability to track a person or to track a vehicle. So saying there's a person, track them. They may not have the ability to distinguish between two people if they get, very close to one another, but they can track a vehicle, they can track a person, they can track an object. Our cell phones have that with, autofocus, with specialized autofocus, where you can say, keep focusing on that item or that person or that animal. So with that feature enabled, and I'm sure these drones are more expensive, they can carry out their attacks when you're riding in a bus or driving in a car. It's no harder to do that than if they're walking around the house. But I keep telling you that, and you keep going, Kip, you keep saying the same, you keep trying to do the same thing and expecting a different result. I don't expect a different result. I demand a different result, but that's on you. That's your fault. That's your fault for doing that. And again, you're going to get defensive. Why don't you try this? Just in case you do have people on you trying to cover what if I am telling the truth? All I'm asking for is a third-party investigation. And I'm asking for you to believe me. I do not live in a 24/7 state of constant psychoses. I have not suffered any psychoses. Everything that I remember happened. If you watch the videos, the YouTube videos, which I highly recommend and actually require that you do, I know that you haven't because I can see statistics on it, and I know that you're not. I'm not talking about those projection videos. I'm talking about the Gangstalking story playlist. That will correspond with my document. And over the next couple weeks, I'm going to update the document and put links in the sections to the YouTube video that cover those things. You will see that I am very careful to not paint a picture. You will see that I am very careful to remain neutral as much as possible from a third-party perspective, even though I'm not. So much so that should be praised, and that should be looked at as, he's not paranoid at all. Look how careful he is to point out, hey, they do this to try to cause paranoia and to try to cause suspicion. And I really don't know if that one particular cop, even though he appeared sketchy at the time to me, that could have been a manipulation on these people's parts. That is extremely, extremely important to observe yourself and to praise me for being so careful and doing that. I'm not saying that cop's sketchy, that cop's sketchy, that they're doing that. They may have done the wrong thing, but I don't say every single cop is in on it. But anyway, you're probably not going to watch this video to the end. You're probably going to watch it for a few seconds or not at all when I link you to it. And even if I do link you to it, you probably won't respond at all, just like you do on every single other video. And I'm only saying this because I don't believe that this is the case. But just in case it is, if you are investigating this behind the scenes and you are pretending and thinking that you're sending me signs because you have been so rude at sometimes and you have been so ignorant, which you're going to be you're going to take offense to it, but you have been, to the blatant red flags, like the email that I sent to you about the SWAT team officer, someone who would have access to these weapons or have people in his networks that would have access to these weapons, or someone impersonating him. That's very important. That should be investigated. It's very odd that the police department wouldn't investigate that. That is another red flag. It's very odd that that SWAT team officer would not respond himself. Everything that I said in that email is true. That's very important that you're not responding to that. That's not normal, that's not rational, and it's not having my back, and it's not caring about me. If you really did care about me, you could have helped me hire someone to help get me on this disability like over a year ago or over 2 years ago, even if you didn't believe of what I was going through. But no, I'm just doing it all on my own. And yes, you're keeping a roof over my head, but you're extending my suffering. And again, every message in that rant that I sent to you when I was at the bus stop or the bus station was not said in anger. When I do all caps, I'm not yelling at you. When I do all caps, pretend that's in bold. Pretend it's in lowercase or normal case. And pretend it's in bold, or that it's highlighted in red, or highlighted in yellow, or green, or whatever. Don't think of it as me yelling at you. Do you see me yelling at you right here? This is probably one of the most, and for 99% of my videos, this is like the most blunt, and it's still respectful, but it's the most, I usually appear aggravated. In some of my pain videos, I do get aggravated at the end. I'm like, God damn it. Or I'm like, fuck you, or I hate you. I think in one video, it's like, I hate you. But that's because you're not doing anything. And you could have helped me solve this over 2 years ago. This is going to be the most important thing in your life that you will ever be a part of. And you're fucking it up. And by you taking that same stance of, I'm going to get angry when he corrects me, how do you think it makes me feel when you say you get angry when I correct your memory? Well, I'm correcting your memory of my memory, and your memory's wrong many times, and I don't yell at you for that. I don't do anything but respectfully give you a correction on that. You should not get angry at that at all. If anything, you should be apologetic to it. And you have not apologized to me one time because you treat me like I'm some leech. That is wrong. And I know you won't think that it's wrong unless I survive this and this story comes out, but you are fucking up like on an unbelievable level. And as an exercise, I would like you to try this, because you're also doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So ditto back to you. All I have asked for is a proper investigation of my cases. That should not be anything but something that you want to. Once again, all I've asked for, and I've also asked for rescue to get me out of here, and that's something you should have done as well, but you didn't because you don't believe me. But whatever. That's something you should want too. I was assaulted at my doctor's office, and they released medical information to these people. I am 100% right on that. I am not I wasn't suffering psychoses from that. I didn't go to my doctor's office high, and even if I had, it doesn't fuck with your memory. It is not a mind-altering drug in the sense of it causes you hallucinations. It's not hallucinogenic. It makes you hornier or more. It's like basically taking a lot of no-dos, a lot of something to keep you awake. But it stimulates, and most people, it stimulates your hormones. It makes you hornier, makes you want to fuck, or it makes you want to fuck more. Or it makes you want to jerk off and watch porn instead of wanting to kill someone while you're being attacked by these things. So anyway, I know you're not going to watch this video, but I'm going to post it and I'm going to link it to you anyway. But again, All I'm asking for is a proper and aggressive, preferably, investigation into this, which APD has not done a single minute, a single second of investigation. That email that I sent you about that SWAT team guy, that is extremely important because either someone impersonated a cop and gave his badge number with his name and knew that information, or he really did contact me. Either way, that's very important. He had no reason, there's no reason for a SWAT team officer to have ever contacted me. It was right after I was going through that shit with Bernie, and he wasn't calling about the protective order with Bernie. I called him back and he was like, no, I don't need to speak to you anymore. I thought that was kind of weird. And then he jerked around with me, flirting with me over text messages. Those text messages are real. I didn't fabricate them. And once again, it may not be Officer McLeod, but it could be. Either way, that's very important to look into. It's also very important to look into why APD didn't look into it. It's also very important to find out why Officer McLeod did not respond to me. Like, you would think he would have been like, oh, that's not my number. That's not a normal response. And if you're investigating this, or someone is investigating this and telling you to pretend to not let me know, I am telling you that is 100% the wrong thing to do, because you are pushing me closer and closer. You're like, I'm pushed beyond the limit of what most people should be pushed to, and that shouldn't be thought of as a suicide risk or something like that. But it shouldn't be treated as, let's take advantage of the fact that Kip is refusing to go to self-help. But you and APD have put me in a position of desperation where other people would understandably, completely understandably, resort to self-help. You should avoid that at all costs, even if I refuse to do so.